And the racetrack continued to operate for 32 years up until 1875. And people would come out to Brisbane for a 3-day horse racing meeting, Brisbane and roundabout. And there would be lots of good food. They'd set up tents, shelter. There'd be lots of good food, beverages, horse racing, chatter, and you can just imagine the social scene down there on that block of black area land that you can see down there.
And the air race was incredibly popular. Every newspaper in the world were talking about it. And the Dutch had an airplane called the Iver, the Storm. And that one won on handicap the first prize. It was enormously popular, written in all the newspapers. On the way back from Melbourne, it landed here in Archerfield. This is the picture in Archerfield. The pilot, Parmentier, he wrote a book about the flight that he made. It was a brand new plane at that point in time. And because the war was already starting in the Dutch East Indies, they sent a group of pilots and technicians to Archerfield to actually take possession of the planes that the Americans would fly to Archerfield, and from Archerfield they would then start bombing the Japanese. That was the plan. Of course, brand new planes, teething problems, planes didn't arrive on time. The war, the occupation of the Dutch East Indies was already happening before the planes arrived. So they were stranded here in Archerfield. and more planes arrived in Archerfield from the Dutch, who were fleeing as much as possible with their planes and whatever equipment they had. So Archerfield was extremely busy in that period when the Dutch evacuees and refugees arrived here. The planes were all put together, and by April that year they had enough, or actually March that year, they had enough planes to actually start a squadron, and that became the 18 Netherlands East Indies Squadron, RAAF. Correct if I'm wrong, Peter? And they then moved to the Northern Territory because they had to fly from here and bomb Java. That was, of course, too far away. So the 18th and the 19th Squadron were in the north, and the 20th Squadron was positioned in Dutch New Guinea, which was not occupied by the Japanese.
Some of you would have found on the trivia sheet. I'm going to call on Lachlan to, now I believe there's a prize for this, and I believe that there's that hamper there. So hopefully some of you have found some of these other interesting facts, and you might even win a hamper if you get the right answer.
I've never been much of a quiz master, so I apologise in advance, but of course someone's ringing me as an emergency. Look, first I'd just like to thank Robert, Peter and Paul for their insightful stories that they've given us this afternoon. I know I've learned quite a deal working through this project, and I hope that you've learned a little bit this afternoon as well. Also for the committee members that were involved first up, much appreciated for their work and their input bring together all that information. To Lisa for curating and bringing that information and distilling it down into what we see today. Thanks for your efforts. Vanessa for the graphic design work too. Thanks very much. A lot of effort. I know we went back and forth on this 100 times on those panels, so really appreciate that. And our team, Andrew and Casey, just for finishing touches. Thank you. Brad, thanks for bringing over one of your spectacular warbirds. Great to have that as a backdrop, and for anyone that's got the stomach for it, I encourage you to look up fighter pilots and see if you can go up in a joy flight with one of those wonderful aircraft. As Corey mentioned, Archerfield had their 91st birthday. The airport had its 91st birthday last Monday, so there really is a lot of connection to a lot of people that have been involved here over many, many years. And I know that quite often I'm out in town or whatever, and people say, oh, my grandfather or my auntie or my uncle, worked there or, learned to fly there. So there really is a lot of that sort of connection with the place. I guess today, Archerfield's a key hub for aeromedical and emergency services, also for corporate aviation, flight training and aircraft engineering. It's the second busiest airport in Queensland, believe it or not. It was the busiest airport during COVID when Brisbane Airport was on its knees. And we also have the most helicopter movements of any airfield in the country. There's over 140 diverse businesses that operate from the airport, and they employ some 450 staff. There's also on a regular season about 400 students that are trained through our various flight training academies here. On the back of Project AIM, which is our airside infrastructure modernisation project, which has seen the lengthening, strengthening of our main runway being reconstructed recently, and that's been completed, as well as our taxiway Bravo being done as well. I think that you'll hopefully see that with these recent investments, the place really has got an exciting future to complement its rich history. So thanks very much for everyone coming along this afternoon, and we'll get into this trivia quiz and see whether anyone's actually read any of those panels that we slaved over for so long. Righto, so up to the questions, and if you could just, I guess, tick off your own trivia notes, and then if someone's got them all right, that's great, we'll have a winner. Otherwise, we'll have to rely on some honesty system where people have counted up correctly. So the first one was, what is the name of the local First Nations peoples who are the custodians of the land where Archerfield Airport stands? Can anyone yell it out?
Yagara.
Yagara people, that is correct.